Hello, everyone. I'm Sibel Edmonds, the infamous FBI whistleblower, the most gagged person in the history of the USA via invocation, multiple times invocation of the state secrets privilege in my case, and the recipient of the First Amendment Award by the Newman Foundation in 2006. Now, I had an intro video just a couple of days ago. And with that, I am starting a series of videos. These videos consist of breaking reports, probably, most likely, if not definitely. Most Americans haven't heard about these reports, and these reports involve them and their money, taxpayers, US taxpayers' dollars, terrorist organizations, radical terrorist organizations, and massive, massive corruption in several states here in the United States of America. Now, in some ways, this is a series of breaking reports, but also in many ways, it's like a whistleblowing, as if I'm reliving what I went through. Only, when I say only, 25 years. It's been 25 years. It's unbelievable. It's been 25 years since my whistleblowing journey started. The reason I'm saying I have been reliving this is due to the fact that in the past 6 weeks, I have these documents in front of me. I have been under assault by this dictator president in Turkey, the corrupt dictator president Recep Tayyip Erdogan. It started with issuing an arrest warrant for me about 5, 6 weeks ago, simultaneously issuing court orders that are actually based on no evidence, because these court sessions were put in place at 8:45 p.m. at night on a Friday with no evidence presented. These reports were sent to their buddy Elon Musk on X, and they asked him, this is the Turkish government, to ban my account, censure it, so that nobody can reach it in Turkey other than those who have VPN. And a couple of weeks later, they did that with my YouTube account, and they requested the same, and they received from Google YouTube to ban and block my account, YouTube account, in Turkey. And 4 days ago, they did the same thing with Zuckerberg, and successfully they did it, and they blocked and censored my accounts, Instagram and Facebook, in Turkey. So arrest warrants and all these bans that have taken place in 5, 6 weeks, due to the fact that I have been reporting breaking reports on information, news, developments that have been severely censored in Turkey for years. And there are many, and I am with this, starting those that actually involve the United States of America, and billions of dollars, billions of dollars. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to repeat it. Billions of dollars in taxpayers' dollars that they have been basically funneling out of the United States with corruption secretly every year, not just billions of dollars total, for over 20 years, mainly through these charter schools owned by a radical terrorist cleric, Fethullah Gulen. And most of these schools and most of these embezzling of the taxpayers' funds happening in Texas and Illinois, among other states, but these are the two top states. So the reason I'm saying whistleblowing is because in addition to all these bans and censorships and the arrest warrants, we have been receiving, my family, I have been receiving, in the past couple of days, death threats and threats that their arms, this is what I was told, that their arms are very long and easily reach the United States. And I have no doubt, because when I start going through these reports, especially those directly involving the United States, taxpayers, corruption, terrorism, the United States national security, you will see that indeed they do possess really long arms. Add to that the fact that the president here in the United States of America has been declaring repeatedly on weekly basis, sometimes multiple times in a week, that this dictator terrorist Erdogan happens to be his good friend and his favorite leader in the entire world. If you don't believe my words, if you think that there may be some exaggeration in effect here, I invite you to Google and just see how many times President Trump has stated publicly with these statements that this dictator terrorist Erdogan happens to be his favorite leader and that this guy has been doing everything he has been asking him to do. Everything. Well, many of those everythings involves black ops, terror operations, including the plane that they blew up. This was a terrorist attack, Libyan plane, Libyan government plane in Ankara, Turkey recently, among many, many other things. So yes, yes, I feel like after 25 years, I'm starting all over again as a whistleblower. Now, for this report, I'm going to talk about these charter schools in the United States of America. Now, the dollar value paid by the taxpayers, the Americans, all Americans, not only the states where these charter schools operate in, but all Americans, it's estimated between $3 to $4 billion a year. Hundreds of schools. Now, the two best known schools are here. I want to make sure I'm accurate with all the names here. And here we are. It's the Harmony schools. Those are multiple schools under the charter school, Harmony schools. And then we have the second school here. And I will get to that second school as well. I'm going to explain to you how this is being done in the past 4 years, because these schools have been doing this for over 20 years, okay? Since they established these charter schools under worldwide wanted radical Muslim, pseudo-Muslim, he's not a real Muslim, none of these people are real Muslims, Fethullah Gulen. He died. He just died 2 years ago, but his organization, his terror organization, his radical terrorist organization still lives. And organizations live. NGOs, mosques in the United States, and they have actually increased the number of mosques that they have been building, sometimes with Pakistani partners, sometimes with Qatari partners, here in the United States, over a dozen of NGOs, okay? And also hundreds and hundreds of schools here in the United States. So I'm going to explain to them what happened. Those of you who paid attention in 2016, there was this attempted coup. I'm doing this. You notice that? In Turkey. And this attempted coup was blamed on this terrorist radical Fethullah Gulen. And that statement was partially correct, the claim, because as we are going to see, I have found out, I have been reporting on this, this attempted coup was a fake coup that was executed, believe me or not, with Gulen and this radical terrorist president, two radical terrorists, part of the same exact network, right? Together, jointly, because around 2013, 2014, it became almost 100% certain that this radical terrorist Erdogan was not going to get reelected, okay? Most people there made it clear that they didn't want him, all right? And this was during some real economic crisis in Turkey. And they had to come up with a way to permanently grab this seat, right? Like a sultan, not like a president, not like a democratic country. And that's exactly what they did. With this attempted coup, he has been the president with no other elections till now, over 10 years. And now he claims he's going to be there, or his sons, or his son in laws, or the person he appoints, for as long as they are able to continue this despotism. So, with that, in Turkey, they created this climate that's very similar, and it has been the case, as the McCarthy era in the United States, right? Anybody who criticizes, who has been criticizing in the past 10 years, this dictator, terrorist president Erdogan, in any way, even in the slightest form, is being arrested and jailed with no due process by just doing one thing: label them FETÖ. FETÖ means the member of this terrorist radical cleric Fethullah Gülen's organization, which is actually a partner behind the scene of Erdogan. Okay, hundreds of reporters, journalists, broadcasters have been jailed. Hundreds of the military members, they have been killed, they have been tortured, and there are still many of them sitting in jail. The only thing they have been doing for thousands of people, because right now they are experiencing in Turkey this shortage of prisons crises, and many of these prisoners are the political prisoners. They are journalists, they are human rights activists, they are women's rights activists, they are writers, they are authors, okay? They are decorated generals, colonels, and they are the ones who occupy majority of this prison cells in Turkey. And all they have done, and initially, when I say initially, it lasted for 8, 9 years. Uh, Many people in Turkey, they bought into it, that yeah, all these tens of thousands of people that they're arresting, they're rounding up, they are FETÖ. They are part of the coup attempters, right? Fethullah Gülen's people. No evidence presented. Many of these court sessions, there are no court sessions because they are in secret with no evidence. The intelligence agency, which is Erdogan's arm, and Erdogan as the dictator president, all they have to say is they are FETÖ. Okay? Now, how interesting the fact that in 2022, late 2022, Erdogan, right, the corrupt Erdogan and his corrupt family, because now his entire family, his son is a billionaire, you know. I know it sounds familiar. We have we have been creating many billionaires here, but his son, his son-in-law, his daughter, they are all billionaires now. And these people, they had nothing, right? Before this presidency office, they had nothing. They were not businessmen, right? They were not rich people. And nobody knows, well, they know, but on the record, it's not known how they became so rich. So while they're jailing all these people under the guise of their haunting, right, these FETÖ people, Fethullah Gülen people, they made a extortion and deal, and I will explain that further, with the charter schools owners, which is Gülen organization in the United States, with this $3-4 billion coming from the US taxpayers, right, to extract 49% of gross revenue and have this revenue, which is billions of dollars, over $1 billion, to their family accounts. And this is Erdogan family, to family accounts. Some of these bank accounts are identified only by numbers, and they are in Qatar. That's where he keeps many of their family's billions, Erdogan's family. And there is at least one or two entities from his families who have offices in London, UK, with bank accounts there. So they are transferring some of them to the London accounts, some of them to the accounts in Qatar. And what happens is, with this money, a lot of it goes to their pocket, but into their pockets, but there are portions that goes to ISIS. As you know, ISIS, this is one of the things that all these presidents thank this dictator, terrorist president Erdogan for, because it was through Erdogan that they went from Al Qaeda to ISIS. And all these training camps were in Turkey, including the US base in Turkey, which was used in 2011, 2012, 2013, and I blew the whistle on this. I reported on this. You can find my reports from as early as 2012, 2013, before people started even hearing the name ISIS, on training camps in Turkey to create these terrorists and go from Al Qaeda brand to ISIS brand. So some goes to ISIS and ISIS terror operations. Some of it earmarked and it goes to the Muslim Brotherhood. If you're not familiar with the Muslim Brotherhood organization, their biggest chapter, the most active chapter, is not in any of these known Arab countries, but actually their largest chapter underground is in Turkey. And they work together with Erdogan, you know, I don't want to say, administration, government. It's the family, it's the head of the intelligence agency. They are no longer, Turkey is no longer a republic. It has been under dictatorship, severe dictatorship since 2016. So some of it goes to the chapter of Turkey's chapter of the Muslim Brotherhood. And it was the case even before through Fethullah Gulen network, but now the Turkish Erdogan family and the government there, they are in charge of 49% of US taxpayer dollars, over $1 billion paid for these charter schools. Now, I know what you're going to ask. Well, our money, government gets our tax, and they say we give you $3 billion and you have to show us that these schools, that you're operating for us, for the government, the taxpayers paid schools, charter schools, you're using this money for the teachers, construction, this and that. Well, here comes the scam, right? And they have been doing this for years. They bring many of their teachers from overseas, Uzbekistan, mainly from Turkey, Turkmenistan. So these are teachers that they bring from foreign countries. And what they do is this, okay? This is with pretty much all their foreign brought in teachers. This is the Gulen Erdogan mafia. This is a mafia way because you're going to see how this works. They tell these teachers, we give you a chance, we bring you with the visa to the United States of America. We'll help you find cheap housing. We are going to give you every month, I'm just going to throw a number there, $4,500 for monthly salary. You're going to receive this. You're going to put it in your bank. 24 hours later, you're going to take $2,500 of this money, write a check, and give it to this nonprofit organization, charity organization we have here in the United States or we have here in London, okay, to help other Muslims. You have no choice, okay? Well, these people, these teachers used to make maybe $300 a month in their countries, right? If they were lucky enough to find a job. And now they have a chance to be in the United States. They get this money, they get the cheap housing, some of it subsidized because the mafia runs into the real estate too. That's another story for another time. But they are asked, this is the mafia style extortion. We give you this money. On the book, it looks like we gave each teacher $5,000, but you are going to give $3,000 of it to us, but not directly to us, through all these networks of NGOs, all under Erdogan and Fethullah Gulen. Okay, and they all have great sounding name, educational funds for the Muslim children, or they do, but that's not what they are. Okay, as is the case here in the United States, we are experiencing the same crap with so many other US based places and the fake churches and all that. And I'm not gonna get into that. No, I'm not gonna get into that. Not today. I'm going to get into that, but not today. So that's one way they are doing. Also, for the construction and reconstruction and the repairs in the schools, they bring like carpenters, etc., builders from Turkey, workers, okay, because there's shortage here. and they use these Turkish construction companies, right? It's same exact deal. They charge for certain construction project for these charter schools, and it says, okay, it's a total of $25,000, when in fact it's $8,000. So the construction company then takes 8,000 and then takes the rest, okay, and then gives it to these NGOs, okay? And these NGOs are owned, they are all governed, operated by Erdogan crime family, because it's a mafia family. It's Erdogan mafia family and the Gulen network. That's how they have been getting billions of dollars a year, right? Scamming the hard-earned money of the United States taxpayers, okay? For years. This has been going on for 20 years. I'm not the first to expose this. In 2016, Mark Hall, the famous award-winning documentary filmmaker, after several years of investigating, talking with whistleblowers from these schools, some of the teachers, yes, they blew the whistle, and put together an amazing, stellar, again, multiple award-winning documentary film called Killing Ed. Killing, separate ED, Ed. Check it out, people. Exposing this radical, terrorist, pseudo-Muslim cleric, Gulen's, how he started building these, taking these from the United States government, because CIA wanted him to have this, because he has been working for the CIA since 1996, as has been Erdogan before he was a president. This is when they started to really put in place Operation Gladio 2.0. Turkey being the headquarters. And Turkey as headquarters, it was via these pseudo-radical Islamic people such as Gulen and Erdogan and many, many others who are currently in high places in terrorist dictator president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. This is what they're doing with the money. Not only they have been doing that, since 2024, they have increased their operations by building mosques across the United States. Again, some of them, I don't know why, but Texas is their hotbed. Of all the places, right? Texas is their hotbed. The second state that they favor, and they have all their criminals, which is a criminal state, is Illinois, the state of Illinois. But Texas is number one, is these mosques that they are building. Sometimes these organizations, Erdogan's family, mafia family, partnering with their Pakistani agents, right? When I say agents, is it looks like, let's say some of them looks like they are being built by some Pakistani, humanitarian NGOs, but actually it is the Turkish side that actually rules. But because they have learned through this expose by Mark Hall's films, right, to not draw much attention or suspicion. So sometimes they're doing it directly via Gulen organizations, the Turkish Erdogan mafia family organizations, but now they're also partnering for some mosque projects and the NGOs with some Pakistani people, and they say, we give you money, but it's going to look like on the paper that you are building this mosque, or you are building, or you are managing this NGO. How do we know so much? How did Mark Hall get all this information? How have I started blowing the whistle in Turkish videos? You can see on this channel many Turkish videos for the past 2 months, because some of these people have been reaching out to me and talking with me, right? They are brave. And some of them actually have, some of these people have gone to the FBI. Yeah, Kash Patel, the Justice Department. And they haven't been any help. They take the report, they're like, he's our CIA man. And guess what? President Donald Trump says his favorite leader in the whole wide world is this terrorist mafia, right? Dictator, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. So he's untouchable. And his terrorist networks in the United States, they're untouchable. And there are scammers, fraudsters in the United States taking billions of dollars of taxpayers' money. They're untouchables. They are Donald Trump favorite people. It's a part of the family. It's a mafia family. It's a ruthless mafia family that has been ruling by force in Turkey. So they're reaching out to people like me. They reached out to people like Mark Hall. And here is another proof for anybody watching these videos in Turkey is these people, when I said they are using the FETÖ as the McCarthy's Red Scare, right, in Turkey. So some of these teachers, they reported it to FBI, and initially they naively reported it to Turkish government, saying this is what these people are doing. And Turkish government have been retaliating against them in Turkey by going after their family members who still live in Turkey, or in some cases in Uzbekistan or Turkmenistan, because as you know, Turkey has far reach. It has a long arm, as they have threatened me with that, saying, you know that we have long arms, right? When it comes to the United States, and don't feel like you're safe over there. And so that's what's happening. If they think, oh, because Fethullah Gulen is now hated in the United States, in Turkey, and the government there says they are terrorists and we are going to go after it. So it's safe, right? It's the opposite. It's the Turkish government that is going after these whistleblowers, teachers, right? Teachers, family members who still live in Turkey. This is a mafia operation, people. This is a terrorist mafia operation. This is a pseudo-Islamic, because Islam doesn't advocate for this. These people, like Erdogan's ancestors, they came from Georgia and they were Jewish, right? And I have other reports on that, especially for Turkey on Erdogan. And but this whole thing has been going on. Nobody's reporting it here in the United States. I'm going to take it back. Mark Hall did an amazing job. And interestingly, his film is banned in Turkey. Nobody's allowed to show it. Movie theaters, the TV networks, the YouTubers, it hasn't been. Nobody in Turkey, inside Turkey, has seen his film. And it's a film about the guy that they claim attempted to bring about a coup in Turkey. Think about it. You jail tens of thousands of people in the past 10 years, kill them, torture them. And many tens of thousands have fled Turkey because of what they have been doing. And yet, you don't want Turkish people to know about this multi billions and billions of dollars in US taxpayers' money given to cleric, pseudo-Islamic, mafia, terrorist, radical cleric, Gulen's organization. Why? Because Erdogan's family, the mafia, Erdogan's family, they have been getting 49% of that money, gross profit, being funneled into their accounts. This is how they have been doing. Hey, my friends, hello, howdy, my friends in Texas, my friends in Illinois, my friends anywhere in the United States of America. We are talking about a mafia, terrorist, radical dictator, unfortunately declared by our president, Donald Trump, as his favorite leader in the world, and has like carte blanche. He can go and do anything. He's doing it in the United States. It's not only that he's doing all these horrible things in Turkey, torture, jail, censorship that is like unheard of. The level is unheard of. Go check. Go check. You will see all these European publications. They have been publishing and putting out reports, but they are kind of totally mummed here. They have silence in the United States. People are being prevented from reporting on who President Trump's favorite leader and very good friend Erdogan is. Well, I have many more reports coming up, including Erdogan and Turkish government and Epstein and more than that. Much more is coming. And how I want to close this is, I can't take this case, and I won't take this case to the FBI. People have tried to no avail, and Unfortunately, the FBI has become, due to the mafia leadership, deep state leadership, is part of all these mafia operations and terrorism and assassination and whatnot. And what am I gonna do? I can't take it to the Justice Department. Hello? Who's covering up all the Epstein's case? Child raping, pedophilia ring here in the United States of America. That era of believing and thinking that's what you can do has been over. We all know that. What am I going to do? I can go to the police stations in Texas. In fact, I joined Mark Hall in 2017, 2018. I went to Texas and we campaigned, we educated, tried to educate the legislators in the state of Texas. We were in Austin. We went to the Austin's Capitol. I had a few clips from our campaign in Texas, and Mark Hall has done an amazing job trying to bring the government's attention, the people's attention to it. But I'm telling you, people, this is now out of control. This has now reached level that is blinking red, dangerous red alert. And I'm counting on you, because the only place I can take, and then together, if with your support and with you joining this, we can take it a few levels higher, including the, I don't want to talk about the whorehouse in DC, but the state legislators all over the United States, and actually let people know. I guess that's the first step, because where are they going to find out about this? It's nowhere to be found. Okay? It's nowhere to be found. So here I am. I'm reaching out to you. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I have a membership. Join if you can. If you can afford, please. I can use any support, all support that I can get. Like this video, share this video. I'm shadow banned in many of these social media channels. Now, I have never been a social media person. I'm not into it. I don't have even TikTok or anything. I'm not a TikToker, but I count on you to make this go more viral, and share it with people. And that's gonna help me get and keep the series going and moving forward. There are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people in Turkey who are actually with me, reaching out to you and asking for help, because the despotism they have been facing, this is like a Taliban of Afghanistan. You have no idea the kinds of Sharia stuff they have been bringing to Turkey, and 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 the terror organizations they have been supporting, and the people they have been raping and torturing and jailing, because he happens to be the favorite dictator of President Donald Trump, doesn't mean that we here in the United States share those kinds of values. We have our own values, dignity and the rights and the freedom of human beings. So we are reaching out, because he has basically banned everything. Here is in front of me the latest court order signed. Look at the black is actually the judge's name, because it's classified as a state secret. And the decree saying July 24th, less than 5 days ago, declaring me to be banned on every channel. And even if someone mentions me on a YouTube or in Turkey, they will face criminal persecution, prosecution. It's 1984 multiplied by 1,000. So we are all reaching out, because many believe in Turkey, and I'm going to share this because I share that with them, that without the U.S. government's, CIA's, Donald Trump's support and backing, this guy would have been toppled. Okay, and the reason he's not, a part of the reason, not all the reason, is because of this untouchability, the untouchable status, and the support he is getting from the U.S. taxpayers in billions of dollars, and President Donald Trump. And I think I'm doing my share, and I hope you will, and you will join me in this, because there is so much more. There is so much more. Thank you very much. Much respect. Much love to you all. We'll connect soon.